Okay, you can just say something or anything. It doesn't really matter at this game. So, what do you know about baking? Let's just start with that.
There's tons and tons of ingredients.
Yeah, there are a lot of ingredients that can go into baking. Is there anything else?
There's different foods like grain and wheat.
Grain and wheat, yeah. In fact, those actually go into making flour, which is commonly used. It's really cool. What about anything else? It's okay. It's okay if you don't. Okay. So, what's really cool about baking is you get to make a lot of things. Today we're actually going to make something sweet. We're going to make chocolate chip cookies. You excited for that? I love chocolate chip cookies. So what we're going to do first, actually, is we're going to pretend that this oven is hot, and we're going to pretend you're putting something into the oven, and we're going to take it out so that we can teach you how to be safe with the oven. Because we wouldn't want you to get burned, right? Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to put those oven mitts on. And then you're going to go ahead and open the oven. Okay. Now obviously the oven is not quite hot right now, but we're going to pretend like it is. You're going to grab the pan. And go ahead and put it in. Look at that, you're a pro. Okay, go ahead and close the oven. Awesome. Nice. Oven mitt high five. Can you do that? Yes. Okay. So we're going to pretend our timer just went off, and we're going to go ahead and open up the oven again. And you're going to take it out. We're going to pretend there also are cookies on here, so go ahead. And then go ahead and set it right on top of the oven. Nice. Good job. You need to close the oven as soon as you were done, so that's awesome work. So when we're actually taking them out, we're probably going to have you set them right here so that they have a better place to cool down. Because sometimes on the stove it can still stay a little warm. All right, that's pretty much all I wanted to do with that. So you think you're ready to get started? All right, so we're going to go ahead and bring this over here to use later on. All right. Let's just make sure that we can both be seen. I'm going to have you step in front of the mixer. So we're going to use this mixer to go ahead and mix our cookies in. It's pretty easy. Just dump all the ingredients in, turn it on, and you're good to go. Make sure it's locked down before you turn it on, and that's about it. So let's give it a couple tries. I want you to go ahead and turn it on just the first click on this side. Okay, see how it's nice and slow? That's what we're pretty much going to have it on all the time. Okay, you can go ahead and turn it off. Yeah, good job. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and flip this switch on this side. And yep, nice job. All right, so my goal for you is to go ahead and see if you can replicate the recipe by reading it. And if you go ahead and actually read it out loud, that'd be awesome.
1 stick of butter softened.
Okay, so what they're doing here, how to read this, is they give you the list of all the ingredients, which we've already set out right over here. Just gonna point it at the tray real quick. Okay, so that you can get them all out and ready to go. But before you actually start mixing, you should read at least the first step.
Preheat oven to 325 degrees.
Okay. This is just a note for like a different kind of oven. We're going to use this temperature today. All right, so go ahead. Let's see. So to go ahead and get started, do you know how? Go ahead.
50. What was it again?
325. Okay, and then push start. Awesome. Now that's going to get warming up for us while we go ahead and mix up the dough. All right, so now you see all the list of ingredients, and normally when you bake by yourself, you would get all of the ingredients out and place them kind of in the order you would need them. before you would even get started. It's called organization. You can get a lot of good material. So now you can go ahead and read this next step.
Mix together butter and sugars until smooth.
Okay, so you can go ahead and add that butter. Yes, it's pretty soft, so make sure you get all the butter off of your hands when you're done as well. Nice job. And then if you want to get any more butter off of that, I do have this. So you can scrape it off. So have you ever helped your mom bake before?
Mm-hmm.
You have? What have you helped her make?
I've helped made my sister muffins.
Okay.
I've
actually have a bowl for garbage if you'd like.
I've baked cookies.
You have baked cookies before. Awesome. Okay. All right, you want to wash your hands? Go ahead. Great job. All right. And so now it said to add sugars. So let's look on the recipe and see how much of each one we need.
3/8 of a cup of white sugar.
Awesome. So go ahead and find me. So I already have the measuring cups already out for you. So just pick the right one you think you could use.
Baking soda. Chocolate.
It's going to be in one of these red containers right here.
This one.
Good job. All right, and go ahead and pick out the measuring cup you think you'll need. Well, those are going to be teaspoons, so yeah.
1/8, so 3.
Yes, very good. Yeah. I can use some help on now. Alright. So you want to make sure you fill the cup completely before you put it in, though. And if you need help, you can use the spoon. So what do you like about baking?
It's kind of fun since you have tons of ingredients and like when you want to build something new, you can kind of like experiment.
Yeah.
If you don't have the right stuff, you can have like a substitute for it.
Yeah, that's true. In fact, there are actually a lot of things you can use for substitutes if you don't have like exactly what the recipe calls for. But it's also like really important that you measure the ingredients just right. Right. Okay, so what's the other kind of sugar and how much do we need?
1.5 cups of brown sugar.
Okay, it looks like it just says 1/2 of a cup. Alright, and if there are any like special instructions on here for each ingredient, it'll say it kind of with a comma next to the ingredient itself. So what does it say for the brown sugar? Does it
1/2.
1/2? Okay, and what's it say right next to it? Packed. Okay, do you know what that means?
So I gotta push it down to make sure it's...
Yeah, you are a rock star. Because you can see that the brown sugar is kind of clumpy, huh? Yeah. Okay, can you get that a little bit fuller? You really want to pack it in there and make sure it's all full. All right, good job. Awesome. Okay, so you remember how I told you how it mixes up?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. You're just going to turn it on that first speed. You can put that back on the tray. And if it looks like it's doing well, you can turn it up a little bit. Okay, you can go ahead and turn it up another notch if you want. Because sometimes the butter will get stuck to the, yeah. Alright. This is going to sound a little scary, but I know you can do it. I want you to go ahead and flip that switch all the way. Good. Alright. Does that look smooth to you? Awesome. Alright, now you can go ahead and lift this up again. Okay.
Can you scrape this off?
Yeah, that'd be a great idea. It's okay if you don't quite get all of it, but all right, awesome job. All right, so what does it say next on the steps?
1 egg.
Okay, so the eggs are right here. Have you added like eggs in recipes before?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, so you know how to crack it.
Mm-hmm.
And this bowl is just to make sure that we crack the egg into it, to make sure there's nothing bad with it. So wait, we're gonna crack it in there first, and then this way, if the shell gets into it, we can get it out. Okay, that looks good. Good job. I don't even see any shell. You're a pro. You can go ahead and stick it in the bowl. Of course. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. And then down here, what else?
Add egg and vanilla extract. Mix until just combined.
Okay, so find the vanilla extract for me on there. Great. And go ahead, we're going to move these away since we're done.
3/4.
Okay, so go ahead and find it. The cool thing about vanilla extract, there's not going to be a 3/4 of a teaspoon, but
1/2 tablespoon. Teaspoon. 1/4 teaspoon.
So you want to use that one? Alright. If you want, you can add it to this bowl again, or you can just add it right over the mixer. It's okay. Because if a little more gets into it, as long as it's not like a huge amount, we'll be fine. Yeah, it's going to come out a little fast, so. Okay, make sure you fill up that spoon the whole way. There you go. Good job.
That was 2.
And if a little more gets in there, like I said, it's okay. Perfect. All right. I'll go ahead and take care of this, and you can go ahead and mix that. Already smells good, doesn't it? So now what we're probably going to do, since it's not really getting in the sides, is just turn it up a little bit more. Make sure we can get all of it mixed. Okay. Go ahead and go one more up. Good.
This about how fast you normally do it.
That's fine. And that looks good. You can go ahead and turn that off. Because once that egg gets in there, that's what, if you keep mixing it too much, it can turn really cakey. And we kind of like those flat cookies. At least I do. All right. Do you want the spatula again? It's right there. All right. And then we're going to go ahead and actually scrape the bowl as well. Make sure we can get everything into the middle. Good job. All right. And what's cool is you can also scrape this on the paddle, and it will help make sure it gets into the bowl. So let's get that little bit back on the edge. Awesome. All right. Good job. All right, now what does it say next on the steps?
Add flour, baking soda, salt, mix until just combines.
Okay, so where's the flour? It's going to be in one of the red containers. Yeah. So this one you're going to have to dig kind of deep. That's why we're going to need the spoon. Now, how much of it does it say? This is where it gets a little bit trickier.
1.5 cups of flour.
Okay. And then what does this word say?
Scan.
Yes. Do you know what that means? It means we're going to kind of, instead of getting like perfectly measured, leveled on the top, it's going to be a little bit less. We're going to just do a little bit less than that. Go ahead and search your cups and see if there's something you can use.
1.5.
Perfect. It's like I almost knew how much flour we'd need, huh? And if you make a little bit of a mess, it's okay. That's what bacon's all about, right?
Kind of looks like an egg.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Okay. So let's see. We're going to fill it just a little bit more. Maybe 1 scoop or so. Good. So now let's see. That looks good to me. So now when you pour that in, pour it in kind of slowly so it doesn't like make a big poof cloud, okay? Okay, go ahead and get all that flour in there. Good job. All right, so now we're done with the flour. It said salt, right?
Mm-hmm. Salt. 1.5 teaspoons.
Looks like it's just, yeah, just half. Yes. So if you want to like, since this is a big container of salt, you can go ahead and pour it over this bowl, but not like pour the spoon into the bowl. Okay, make sure you get that all filled in there. Okay, that's okay. Go ahead and keep going. And if you get a little more into the bowl than the spoon is, then that's fine too. Okay, that looks good. Just right in there. Good job. Okay. And what else?
Then mix until just combined.
Did we do the baking soda? I don't believe so.
Oh yeah, baking soda.
All right, so we're gonna need that spoon again.
the same one we used last time?
Why don't you look in the recipe and find out?
This.
Perfect. All right. Now for this one, instead of pouring, you're just going to scoop until it's above the line, and then you can use the lid to, there you go, perfect. That's perfect. Good job. And that's it. This time we're going to turn the mixer on just one and just let it do its thing. Have you used one of these machines before? You act like you have, because you're acting like a pro. All right.
Ours is just a little bigger.
Yeah.
You can actually like grate cheese up here.
Yeah, I believe you can do it with this too. It's just a little smaller. All right. Does that look good to you? Okay. And it's okay that there's still a little flour on the sides, because once the chocolate chips go in, it's gonna help scrape some of that off. All right. This. Good job. All right, so what's the one thing we still haven't added?
Chocolate chips.
The chocolate chips, which is my favorite part. All right, so those are the white ones. All right, so look on here and see how much you need of the white ones.
Milk, white, so 3 eggs.
That was already over here. And if you want, you can go ahead and pour it over the bowl. We're gonna fill up that cup, okay? Each time. Because, I mean, you can't add too many chocolate chips. That's good. Okay, so that was one. We need 3 of them, right? Yeah, you can add a little bit more than that. Good. That's okay. Perfect. All right, now grab one of the other bags.
Milk, chocolate chips.
I'm very excited for these.
1 half. This is a lot.
Yeah, using this whole thing would be a little bit of a lot, yeah.
1 half.
You're going to fill that all the way to the top, and even if it's a little bit heaping, that's cool too. Look how big those are. Aren't those,
I know, right?
aren't those cool? Here. You want to try one? They're pretty good. All right.
No, I'm going to start chocolate.
You already knew, didn't you? Get that bag filled. That's okay. Or get the, yeah.
1. 2.
Okay. Go ahead. And then do me a little favor and just shake just a little bit more, just freely into there. Just a little bit. Perfect. All right. We're ready to go.
feel like
Does that look nice and mixed?
I like cookie dough, like just plain
Do you?
cookie dough.
You want to try it? Do you want to try it?
Sure.
My roommates love cookie dough. So you can imagine how excited they get when I make it. Here. Let's just get a small little spoonful, okay? Alright, there you go. You don't have to eat that whole one if you don't want that. Do you like it?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, go ahead and put that in the sink. Okay. The cool thing is now we can just scoop from the bowl. Okay. Alright. So if you want to sit in a chair during this part, that's totally cool. Alright, we've got a scoop here. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how this is done real quick, and then you're going to do the rest. So we get a scoop right in there, and then you scrape it on the side, make sure it's nice and full. And if you need to put some of the dough like in the crevice, that's fine too. And then you just squeeze, and then you're done. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 4 in each row, and we're going to do 3 in each row this way, okay?
So a bigger one of these that's like ice for ice cream.
Yeah, you do?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're doing awesome. And I totally got aprons out for us, and I totally forgot to put them on. That's okay. We didn't make much of a mess except on the table. Yeah. Yeah. And then just, right along this line right here. Okay, I'm going to move these just a little bit down. So do you know what this paper is called that's on here?
I've used it before, but I can't remember.
Okay. It's called parchment paper. And it's really cool because when we put these into the oven,
it doesn't burn.
It doesn't burn. It's a little bit of a protector for the bottom of the cookie, which is nice. And what's really cool, okay, that one looks a little bit skimpy. Let's get just a tiny bit more dough on that one. Good. Okay. And also, when they come out and we're ready to take them off the pan, they don't stick without having to use any extra oil, which is, again, really nice. So do you know why anything that you bake would have to be about the same size?
Because if it was different, if you put one too close to another, it would combine and make something big.
It could make something big, yeah, but also they wouldn't bake quite as evenly. And that means that, like,
since one doesn't have to have as much time as the other.
Yeah. So that one looks a little bit small to me. Go ahead and get a little bit more dough. That's good. All right, let's straighten this out. All right, that looks good to me. I think we're ready to go in the oven. What do you think? All right, go ahead and get those oven mitts. Go ahead and turn. The oven feels pretty different this time, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay. Good job. Now let's read the recipe to see how long it says to bake them.
Scoop 12 per cookie. Bake for 11 minutes.
Okay. I think I can reach it. So timer on. Hit the good. One more. And then timer on again. Nice job. All right. And then while those are baking, we can scoop up another tray. So let me get that other tray. It's right underneath here. And while you go ahead and do that, I'm going to go ahead and put some in the tray. All right.
My mom always says that, like, when it's like baking, it's always important to clean up
Yeah.
while it's baking.
Yeah. That's what I like to do too. Tell you what, that was probably the hardest lesson for me to learn though. Like, I love to bake. When it came to like cleaning up the mess, that was like the hardest part for me. So let's go ahead and let's. All right, those look good. Now, before we put these in the oven, we're going to wait for these to actually come out. So what we're going to do in the meantime is we're going to help clean some of this up, clean some of these dishes off. If you want to eat that, you can. Okay, so the timer just went off, and I actually checked them, and they could use like another minute or so. So while you finish washing your hands and drying them off, you can go ahead and go ahead and do the top. Yeah. All right. So now I'm gonna be right next to you, and I'm gonna show you like what to look for. I'm gonna grab an oven mitt. You can grab them both if you want, but I don't think we're gonna take them out quite yet. Okay, go ahead. All right. Actually, I think we are going to take them out. Those look about perfect. So you see around the edges how they look kind of a little bit browner than the rest of it? That's exactly what you're looking for. So you can go ahead and take those out. Yes, be careful not to touch the cookies too much. Be careful. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, it's really warm. All right, those look great. Now, before we can actually touch those, they're still a little too hot, but I'm going to show you really quick. You see, we can't really see this, but you can see how like they're really, really fragile when I just kind of push them in like that. So we're going to set this for another. Actually, we're going to set my watch for another 5 minutes. Okay. And then as soon as we do that, you can grab the other sheet of cookies and we'll put them in. Okay. All right. That's not what I want. There we go. 5 minutes. Perfect. All right. So go ahead and grab the oven mitts one more time.
You grab those.
Yeah, because if you actually leave that oven open too long, it starts to cool down the oven. So yeah, you can put that. And make sure that paper, can you quickly touch it? And there we go. Go ahead. I just don't want it like completely touching the edge of the pan. Yeah. All right. Set the timer for 11 minutes again, if you would. Be careful not to touch that pan, okay? Nice job. All right. So let's bring the laptop over here so we can see some of the finished product, huh? Oh man, you gotta tell me how good those look, huh? Those look really good, don't they? But what we saw earlier that the camera didn't actually see was they were pretty fragile when I touched them, huh? So that's why we want to wait the 5 minutes. So let's go ahead and have a seat real quick. And you can tell me some of the fun things you were telling me a little earlier. Alright. So one of the things that we talked about when we were over there cleaning up were some of the fun things we would do when we clean up. What did you used to do with your family?
So we used to fill up the sink with hot water all the way up, and then we put quite a bit of soap in each one, and then we would like put beards and mustaches on them while we were cleaning.
That sounds like so much fun. I never did that. Yeah, my parents were all like, use only as much soap as you need. They never were, but that's all right. What else? What else is fun that you like to do? So you actually tried the dough a little earlier, and you really liked it, right? So in a couple minutes, we're gonna take those off the pan, and you're gonna get to taste them when they're nice and warm. How do you like to eat your cookies?
I like to eat them with milk.
Yeah, you do? Me too. They're the best.
And instead of just like shoving it in my mouth, I kind of take little bites at a time so it lasts longer.
You are a smart kid. That's what I like to do. I like to savor it.
And sometimes, like, if I have a ton of cookies, I just like put it on a plate and put saran wrap over and put it back in the fridge.
That's cool. I like that idea. I'll have to use that sometime.
And then I take it out and put it in the microwave.
Yeah. So one thing we actually didn't get to talk about was some of the cool things that happen when you bake. It's really a chemistry process. It's a science process. Some of the ingredients that are in here make things happen with the cookies that we don't normally think about. When we add the baking soda, do you know what baking soda normally does?
No.
Okay, so baking soda actually helps the cookies to rise a little bit. But since because of the shape of the cookies that they're in, they'll rise up a bit and then they'll flatten out and spread out. That's kind of cool. But baking soda actually needs like an acid to make it work. Like you've seen those volcanoes like on TV, like on the science projects. Yeah, the baking soda. They use like a little bit of vinegar to get the baking soda and get the lava going because that's what activates the baking soda. And here, there is actually an acid that we added in here, or something that would be considered an acid. Do you know what that might be?
The vanilla extract?
That's a good guess, but actually it's the brown sugar. The brown sugar is considered like acidic. It doesn't taste acidic, but the molasses that's in it is acidic. It's very cool. What do you think?
That's cool.
Isn't that cool? Yeah. And you're seeing the cookies over there, how they flattened out nicely, huh? Yeah, and we're going to bring the camera over there in just a minute as soon as the timer goes off. Let's see, what else? And the heat also is part of that chemical process. That's another part of the baking soda activation. It usually likes heat. So
like
that's
in volcanoes, it needs heat to start it.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I believe like the initial reaction is just like liquid and acid, but obviously the reaction's a little bit bigger when you bake it. And of course, the baking like cooks the eggs in it so that it's not bad for you to eat. But I mean, hey, it's cookie dough, right? Ooh, timer done! Yay! Get that timer done. All right, shall we go see? All right. So in order to take the cookies off the pan, we're going to use a spatula. But the cookies will be warm, but they won't be too hot. Let me see. All right, which one do you want?
I'll take this one.
You want that one on the corner? Okay. But first I'm going to pour us some milk, okay? Let me just... Alright, so we are about to enjoy these awesome cookies that Brigham made. Alright, are you ready? Alright, let's do it. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. They pretty good?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be really cool. I'm going to send most of these home with your family so that they can enjoy them too. And you can be like, yeah, I totally made them all by myself. Because you did. And so how do you feel now that you've made this recipe all by yourself and they turned out awesome?
I want to make it again in my house.
You want to make them again?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. So you talked about earlier you liking to bake because you can experiment a little bit and there's like a lot of different things you can make, but what's another like reason that you like to bake? Is it this?
Mm-hmm.
When you eat it? Yeah, I love eating when I bake.
I remember one time we were cooking for our neighbor, and it was, I think it was like this cake kind of thing that has a ton of sugar in it.
Mm-hmm.
But it accidentally, instead of sugar, we used salt.
Oh, no.
So, my sister, she was trying it. She was picked up and bit like half of it out, and she hurried and grabbed a drink of water. I'm like, it has salt in it.
Oh no! An experience like that happened to me too once. So when I first started college, I actually wanted to do this for a living. I wanted to bake and maybe like own my own little pastry shop. So I actually went to take some classes, so that not to necessarily to learn how to bake because I knew how, but just to learn some new cooking techniques and some things to, help me get started. Maybe some new recipes. On like my first day of the baking unit, my normal teacher wasn't there, but we had someone come in and sub for her, and she was awesome, and we ended up making like apple pies on our first day, and I was really excited. And so I was able to make the crust and make the filling and everything, and that turned out great. My pie tasted amazing. But there was actually one pie that was made where they used salt instead of sugar in it. And I tasted the crust because they were like, you need to taste this. And I was like, why? What is it? Or what's wrong with it? And I tasted it, and it was like pure salt. And I was like, oh, gross. Like, and I spit it out, I think. It was so nasty. Oh man, it was great though. It was funny and it was. But yeah, I had a lot of fun doing that until I discovered I wanted to be a teacher instead.
Mm-hmm. When you bake, there's like if you start baking, if there's always supposed to be a like where you mess it up, and it turns out really funny.
Yeah, it can be really funny, but it can also be really heartbreaking too, because you're like, oh no,
I made all of this for
like
nothing.
Yeah, because
Like,
you can't eat it.
Like when we're gonna give it to our neighbors, we couldn't give it to our neighbors. We had to make another one.
Oh
It
no.
took a while.
Yeah, I remember actually making, before I even decided I wanted to be a cook, I was making a rice pudding with my dad. We completely forgot to add sugar to it. Like, like everything else was fine. The texture of it was fine and everything, but we completely forgot the sugar. And I don't even know how it happened, but it just was bland and it tasted like rice with maybe some raisins in it, and it was kind of gross. But yeah. So did you have fun?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One of the things I like about baking and why I like to share it with people I love. I'm not saying I love you. I mean, come on, I just barely met you, right? But one of the things I love is that baking can be really relaxing. I love baking in that aspect. It's really relaxing, and then like seeing the people's faces when they put it in their mouth to enjoy it, it's way fun. I like seeing it, and I like, especially what's funny about these cookies. Oh, you want to go ahead and get those? And I'll go ahead and move this tray over the table. Yeah, those look perfect. All right. We can go ahead and hit timer on. Awesome. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and turn that off. So just hit clear and off. Clear and off. It's the red button. There you go. And so now this will stay hot for a while. So we're just going to keep that kind of at a distance. Let's see. So, what was I saying? Oh, when my mom eats these cookies, almost every time I see her eyes roll because they're so good. She likes them that much that her eyes actually roll. It's really funny. So yeah. So that's basically it. I think we're done.